Hey guys, this is G from The Idea. We are a consulting company which is now releasing a lot of our internal assets, which we use for training, to the public for free. So hopefully we can help small business owners project their cash flow so they can survive this COVID period. And secondly, and for me, it's a bit more important, not do mass layoffs. Because right now there are hiring freezes all over the world. Prices for necessities are going up because of hoarding, some pretty greedy behavior, but also because supply chains are heavily affected. So this means people don't have a lot of money right now. They have families, and a lot of governments also don't have the resources to inject, especially if you are in a developing nation. So I hope this video is helpful. Essentially, it's going to help you with forecasting what you can afford, adjust it, and even back pay. Okay, so then that way people are like, oh, great, I should be able to get some of that money back. And also, and I'll just put this here now, ideally you don't fire your staff because there's also good business reasons for it. First one is because it's more expensive to recruit and train again later, okay, for new staff. And if you want to bring them back, you're also assuming they still want to work for you after you fire them in their time of need. And then also, you actually need someone to keep your customers engaged. We would argue that if you keep loyal, like if you keep engaged with your customers now, you have top of mind awareness. So when they need you again, they come right back to you. Okay, so it's like if you can survive throughout this period, you're gonna come out post COVID a lot stronger than your competitors because they're closed. Okay, we're also assuming in this video that your sales are dropping. If your sales are not dropping, then this video might not be for you. Okay, but essentially, this is a free resource or a tool for you to check this big number here, your bank balance, to make sure that you don't go into the negatives. Because if you're a small business owner, it's highly likely that you don't have cash reserves to keep injecting into your company, right? So if you do nothing about your expenses now, you are highly likely to close. Okay, depending on how much cash reserves that you have right now, depending on what your revenues look like right now. Okay, so for the sake of this video, we're going to assume that your revenues are forecasted by you. You should already know. Okay, so if you're a school and you've been forced to close, it's likely that term 4 for you, you're getting no money. Okay, because this could just be flat zeros for you. Or if you've opened again and you're selling after school services and you're doing these sort of like marginal income activities, you can fill that in. And likewise with the food and beverage business, you can do that yourself. Okay. The purpose of this video is to look at how you can work out your expenses, okay, in order to manage or finance or hedge your expenses so that you can keep the company afloat. So if you do nothing, all right, and it's assuming that you eventually your business will come up because of course it will. It will have to increase in revenue at some point because people will need services again. All right. Um, so yeah, anyway, so if you do nothing, you're gonna close. And this sheet here is post deductions, okay? So here, for the sake of this video, we're gonna assume that your cost of goods sold or your cost of sales, depending if you're a product or a service-based business, typically sits at about 30 to 40%. Okay, so if you sell something for $1, normally it costs you 30 to 40 cents to create to sell that, right? Okay, so we're not gonna change that. Let's assume that that stays the same. Okay, your next biggest expenses are usually your salaries and your rental. Okay, so I'm using these as just an example. Okay, so the sake again for the sake of the video, we're basically saying that it's better to give pay cuts now than to lay off all your staff. Okay, so what I've done in this sheet here is an average of $5,000 for salaries, and we've adjusted percentage cuts from Q1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you can see in Q2, for example, if I do a 30% pay cut, if I change that to 20%, that changes the number here. Okay, looks like I still can't survive during this period. These 4 months, I'm at a loss. Okay, so you're like, no, man, no way. I have to keep that at 30%. Okay, Q3, 15%. Can I tell my staff that, oh, we can survive at 10? Yeah, actually, you can still survive at 10. Okay, but if your staff are like, hey, man, it's really hard for us to do 30% now, uh, and you can see that your company can survive, and you really appreciate that they're helping keep your business alive during this period, you can even work out like a back pay period as well and still be afloat, assuming that like $9,000 to $5,000 is about less than a 50% drop in sales. Okay, if you have more than a 50% drop in sales, you might have to do more pay cuts or not do back pay as much here. But it's showing that you can still survive. And as long as you can survive these next 6 months with pay cuts, some pay cuts, which people can still survive on, okay, you can survive this period. You can even back pay these people and still be, or not even back pay them if you are that way inclined, okay? And likewise, if your rental is the one that's killing you, you can do the same discussion with your landlord, because the reality here is that business confidence is going to be at an all-time low. We're going back to like 1929 Great Depression periods, okay? And landlords are going to have empty buildings, no tenants, okay? And so the conversation they can have with them, and remember, be empathetic, be compassionate, put yourselves in their shoes, and say, hey, man, look, I'm in a bad position as much as you are, okay? And I really want to continue renting from you, and I want to continue doing my business. So let's make this work. Okay, so if you can give me a rental cut of 20%, for example, here, or even 30%, okay, here, all right, 30% of 800 bucks was what, $240? Well, that $240, if you look at your profit margins here, you can back pay your landlord in Q4. You just have to tell them and be like, hey, look, man, I can pay you back here as long as I can get my revenues back, right? But I can get my revenues back as long as I don't close the business. And you'll see that I really need your support. I can't run at a loss, so I really actually need you to assist me with a temporary rent cut. And by the way, I've only put Q2 rental in this because it's unlikely that your landlord has, like, you have less negotiating power with your landlord than you do with your staff. Okay, which is why we've given you 4 quarters worth of salary negotiation periods as opposed to your landlord. So this is, again, I wanted to keep this video short, but show you that you can do this. You can get out of this. Okay, you just need to put down this information, look at what your first steps are. We have resources on scripts that you can copy and paste, read, and then deliver one-on-one to your team members, right? So they can go, oh my God, thank you, boss, for looking after me. Sure, I'll take a pay cut and keep the company running, but at least I get my salary so I have a job, right? And likewise with your landlord, okay? And then, for you, that gives you a lot of stress relief, I hope, to see that you absolutely can get out of this, okay? You just have to wait it out, okay? And you just have to manage your expenses well, okay? So if your admin consume, it's not likely that you're going to be spending the same amount on pencils throughout this time, for example, right? And likewise, your tax is going to reduce when you're making less money, okay? And also because you're paying less salaries, your taxes are going to decrease. Right? And you can negotiate with your accountant, with your marketing agency, or whatever during this period to reduce all these other things. Now is the time to negotiate. All right, put this here. Communicate with empathy. Communicate and act with compassion, and people will react that way. They will respond positively. Okay. So on that note, I wish you the best of luck. Feel free to contact us if you need any help. Right now, we're opening our consultants for some pro bono business consultation hours. We can help you through this because when you are successful, when you do well, we are successful too, because the whole economy is doing well. So I hope this is helpful. This template is for free. If you need help with it, let us know. We're here for you. Okay. Best of luck.